Alright, so we're actually live now. Close a couple of things, switch this over to...
Turn my phone on silent.
That would kind of help. Alright, so we're doing the TFL, so let me get... Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, I think I still have his email. I'll just use it.
I thought he did like a photo of it,
He did.
to tell you the truth.
He did. I've got it right here.
I mean, it would take me a second to follow through because we talk so damn much on this thing. Just spitball kind of a bunch of crap for it. Let me get TFL brought back up here. Make sure my kid stays asleep over there. You want to give him a quick media poll? Or...
I've done got it.
Okay. He doesn't use the media poll to do our rankings for the coaches poll, so I mean, I'm not sure why he's like crying for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess just to post them all at one point in time, when all something. What a crybaby. So do you have what you want to say against your rampant Lions?
Actually, I do.
Right.
You want to start and
Well, yeah.
start over? Will that help you?
What's up? Well, no, we're just gonna like roll right through, and then I'll be like, then I'll at one point when we get to the games, I'll just say, "All right, Tirico, let's take the Tirico cap off, and let's bring in Mr. Kincaid here, and let's talk." Type of stuff when we do that.
Okay. I've got those two pulled up. I'm ready to break them down.
Word. You probably have like some crazy breakdown.
Dude, I do. I've cheated with some of it, unfortunately. I copied and pasted some stuff from some other places, but it'll sound good.
Oh, Gondar going number one in the media poll. Oh, I'm officially finally out of the media poll. Ugh. Yeah, I thought this week's rankings, I was so freaking difficult doing either Vestal Virgins or Gondor U for number one. It was difficult.
Alrighty. Let's do our show entrance.
You ready? Alright. Alright, so what are we doing? We're doing the TFL. Alright. I have, for the TCAA, I downloaded the Danger Zone song from Top Gun to play. Since Ted Zilla plays in the Danger Zone. So I'm gonna do like a quick little snippet of that as we go to talk about his team, but that'll be in tomorrow's show then. We got Monsters, JC. All right, so we got week 6 results, our lock results, week 7 games of the week 7 locks, interconference winner. Seems pretty simple. Are you ready to start this puppy?
Rolling.
Alright, let me...
I'll be good.
Wish I could adjust this mic better. Can you hear me pretty good that way?
I think you sound better today than you have normally. Did you change internet providers?
No. Not at all. This probably just wants to work better today. I'm trying to keep that feedback or static or whatever it is away from what I do. Let me pull up week 6 recaps.
There you
So you ever figure out what we're going to do the name yet, or are we just going to still wait for a name?
are. Hell, I can't even figure out what the name of my kid, let alone my show. Did any of them stand out at you?
I don't know.
I like different. I like different stuff. That was in the text between us and Brian, wasn't it?
Yeah, let me. Well, I think it was all at some point in time brought. Let me see if it's in there or not.
No, it was in the one with all 4 of us.
Yeah, it was in the big group text. I don't know. I guess the other ones I was. Oh, there's Will's rankings.
There it is. Fantasy headquarters, spotlight. Crap, Brian, you just made a move.
Got Spotlight, Bullseye, Nerve Center, Sanctuary, Fantasy Factory.
I like Sanctuary. I like Bullseye. I like Nerve Center. It's kind of factory. I'm fine with any of them.
Yeah. Or do we just stick with what we got? Which is just the David Roman Dan Tirico show.
Noble.
I don't know. I was trying to play off of Fantasy Focus, so I did like every different way of looking at Focus. If GCS started this week, I'd be number 1.
It's all about you.
Yeah. What a jerk. Freaking Brian. Yeah, we'll just stick with what we got for the moment.
Okay, let's go.
Alright, let's do this. You work tomorrow?
Yes, I do.
9 o'clock?
9 in the morning.
Oof.
But then so I work tomorrow 9 to 9, and then what is today's? I'm off Friday, so I can stay up late tomorrow too.
Okay. I was going to say, damn, wait a second, we're about to do a 9 to 9 tomorrow shift, and then you want to do the show later tomorrow night? Damn near was a copy of mine. That's funny. That is funny. Alright, let's see here. Let's get ourselves ready. Where the hell was... Alright, here we go. TFL. You don't hear any background noise, do you?
No, can you hear wife's TV going?
No. The wife just came home, so I hear a bunch of stuff opening in the kitchen, so I wasn't making sure that you didn't hear it.
Tell her I said keep that crap down.
Exactly. Tell yours to keep the TV down. How about that?
Jeffrey Cruz.
Yeah, it's Vestal version. So you must have logged back out and logged back in. Alright, here we go. How do I start these things again? It's been so long.
Welcome back. It's week 7. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. All that good stuff. If you guys would stop texting each other funny crap, I could do this. All right, here we go. I should get that yawn in on that one. All right, and go time. Once my wife is done messing with whatever she's doing in the kitchen. Get some light out there.
Hey, Dave's wife, keep that down.
That's what I'm saying. All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone, to the TSPN produced Dan Tirico and David Rome show. This is David Rome. Got Dan Tirico here again. How are we doing today, Dan?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Got a lot to talk about.
Lots to talk about in the TFL. That is always good to have. And let's break right into this. We're going to talk about Week 6 results, who won the advantage for the TFL Super Bowl 4 this year, our lock results, someone's still undefeated, Week 7 games of the week. We have some powerful matchups going on, and then, of course, our locks. So let's get right into this. What do you say?
Let's go.
All right, Week 6 results. We had interconference battles going on. Any of these games stand out to you this week or last week?
Well, I mean, the fact that both of us did go 2-0 as far as our picks, that's really nice. Somebody that I know is undefeated. As far as games last week, we had a lot of close matchups. Anybody in particular you're alluding to?
No, I'm just seeing if there's anything out there. I'm actually a little shocked with some of the winners, some of the losers. I lost. Big Orange Army lost. I think our whole division actually lost. Loose Ends won.
Yeah.
But overall, the AFC pulled out a 7-5 victory overall to win the advantage for the Super Bowl TFL Super Bowl 4. And some of the games that we were looking at last week where we never really had a good chance to break those down. We do apologize for that. We had some
technical difficulties.
That's what I was trying to think of. Technical difficulties were we had Murphy's Law versus Big Orange Army, and then the Dispensers of Pain versus Big South Bandits. And that's what we were going to go over. I mean, those were the games of the week that we were trying to really break into. Anything out of those games, Dan?
No, not offhand.
Besides that, both AFC teams lost in those games.
Yeah, we can just
I mean, real quick, Big South Bandits. I don't know. I'm hoping you bought the steak dinner. I don't know if maybe you tipped off Joe Flacco or if maybe you were partying in Tampa. But I mean, Joe Flacco basically single-handedly.
Yeah, 40-some points, and I almost overcame it. If I'd have played against, there were only really, I think, 3 or 4 teams that outscored me that week. So if I'd played against, about anybody else except for a handful, I would have been fine. But yeah, Flacco, he just, he wore me out.
I'm trying to see here.
Lynch. Lynch was held. He was held back quite a bit. He had a pretty bad showing, so that hurt me a lot.
That I agree with. I mean, you had Matt Forte with 32 points. Can't be mad with that. Matt Ryan had a pretty poor performance, which is the 10 points. So I mean, it's just one of those weeks where, I mean, in 5 minutes, when the quarterback you're facing has scored 40 points in 5 minutes of a game, you're like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, you're in for a long night.
Exactly. Let's see, we did have some close games. We had Old School barely beaten, outkicked my coverage with 3 points. We have, let's see, these other closer games. That was a blowout, 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 blowout. That might have been the other close game.
Havoc Flying Bombers. I mean, that was 5 points separation between those two.
Okay, there we go.
Pretty close. Outkicked my coverage in Old School. We had roughly 3 points separating those two.
Let's see. We had Rampant Lions. They won pretty single-handedly. Big South we talked about. Butt Monkeys destroyed Monsters of the Midway. Destroyed them. 152 to 98. Let's see. He had Colin Kaepernick 35 points. T.Y. Hilton 32 points. Demarius Thomas 23 points. Oof, that is. His running back scored 10 points, but everybody else scored him 100.
So, who was your locks in week 6?
Oh, for week 6 locks. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, it was very nice to still be able to get that victory. I had Every Damn Wrestling, who was able to take care of business for me. It was very, every now and then when you can get Will to follow directions and beat a team that you tell him to beat, it works out pretty well. He had, Russell Wilson only's got him 7 points, which you would have thought would have been bad, but he's got J.J. Watt on his team.
Yeah, what made the difference on that?
When you have a defensive player constantly scoring double-digit points, and in this case 26 points, it's almost like if you lose that game, then there's a huge problem. Because if you look at the winning margin, it was J.J. Watt. If he scored any other normal point total, he probably would have lost. And then we had the game that was scary was Outkick My Coverage and Old School. I had Old School in that one, and Old School was able to pull it off on the, at the very end. I was a little afraid with the Monday night game. I think they had some defensive players each going, and I was afraid that the defense could outscore the other defense. But Old School was able to pull off that victory for me, so it was pretty nice.
Yeah, he had 17 points from his kicker, too. That always helps.
Oh, of course it does.
I had Pill Pushers beating the Mudfish. That one was pretty close. Pill Pushers are now 4-2. Mudfish is 3-3. Also had Rampant Lions, so it's funny as far as that division. You had Every Damn Wrestling. I had Rampant Lions. That division is showing, they're pretty tough again this year. But Rampant Lions, 134.44 to 94 over Beach Bums. I mean, 0-6. They're still they've not won. So I hope they manage to at least squeak one out this year.
Yeah, there's exactly there. I mean, we both go 2-0. I'm still undefeated, which is completely ridiculous. First off, Let me just state that. I have no idea how that's even possible. Still, it's just I know I'm not picking the high-scoring favorites either. It's just the way it's worked out for me. So that's kind of nice. I mean, you were able to get yourself 2 victories. You're getting closer to 500, so that's always a bonus.
Exactly. And the thing is, I've tried to pick a lot of the ones that I would thought were sure and high scoring, and not always worked out so well.
No, sometimes it just doesn't do that. It's just the way I guess this crazy game of football works, fantasy-wise. You know what I mean?
Football. All right. Well, hey, let's go on to week 7.
Week 7.
Yeah. Do you want to start AFC, NFC?
Let's say the AFC. That's a pretty good matchup there. I want to be able to pick a brain of the owner on that one. So let's start with the NFC first. We have Monsters of the Midway, who are cruising along in their division.
Yeah.
Going up against JC Beach Bums, who are cruising along to not showing up in their division.
Well, we're looking at a 4-2 team versus an 0-6 team. But we never know. Would you like to start with breaking it down?
Well, I first do have a statement from the owner of the Monsters of the Midway.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and pull up his statement we've got for him. Here we go. Monsters of the Midway. Quote, "You play every week to win. It just so happens that this week we have an opportunity to strengthen our vice grip on the division. By strengthen, it basically means winning the division title in week 7, by the way. Because pretty sure if he wins it, there's no one catching him. Throw the records out the window. We're focused and ready too. So they're trying not to look past the 0-6 JC Beach Bums. I don't think I would either, but when you're so far ahead in the division and you're going up against a team that has yet to win, you gotta feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but that's only half the battle. I mean, so you lock it up, you make it, you still got to win. I think he's going to have some tough competition.
Oh, I completely agree with you. When I was debating locks, I was thinking to myself, should I lock this upset of the year? In my opinion, but I'm looking at it. Let's break this sucker down here. Do you have anything special on the breakdown?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just start and go for it. Let me start with Monsters of the Midway.
All
Um,
right.
I'm gonna start. I'm not sure who's lineup, who's doing what. I mean, we can go off of what they currently have, but let's start with quarterback Jay Cutler. Cutler finally found the touch on his deep ball in week 6. He went 5 for 7, 191 yards on passes, at least 15 yards downfield. Um, the Dolphins, they have they've been fairly respectable versus opposing fantasy arms this season. They've allowed the 14th fewest points per game, and at the same time, Cutler has a lot. He's got multiple weapons. Matt Ryan's averaged 21.6 fantasy points at home this season, compared to just 14 on the road. Uh, Baltimore has allowed the 7 fewest fantasy points to visiting quarterbacks this season. Ryan remains, he's still a starter. He's got a high volume passing game. He's second in passing attempts. He's got plenty of targets, and but I'm expecting modest results. Going up against Baltimore. We've got looking at running backs. This is kind of where I think his hurts are at. Hulu, I'm not really going to say much about him. Rogers, he does have Alfred Morris. The Titans have surrendered the 13th most points on the road this season. That sets them up for, he's basically going to be their early down workhorse. Right now, Alfred's on pace for around a little over 1,100 yards, 8 scores. I think he's going to have a strong home showing. Looking at wide receivers, this is Monster's bread and butter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Julio Jones. He's leading the league in targets. He's first in receptions among wideouts. He could just feast on a Ravens secondary. Right now, they're allowing the 6th most fantasy points per game to opposing receivers this season. Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson is the league's leading receiver. He's on pace for close to 17. That's 1700, 1,700 yards. Against the Panthers secondary. Right now, that secondary is allowing the 5th most fantasy points per game. Start him and sit back and enjoy. Torrey Smith, he's got a couple of touchdown grabs last week. I think he's got 3 in his last 3 games. But, he has yet to really post a day with more than 4 catches or 50-plus yards. So, Atlanta's 29th ranked in the pass defense. That gives him a good chance this week. But, he's not really shown much for me. Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne's been a little bit of a surprise for me this season. He's, I thought he was kind of losing his step. But, the Bengals have allowed just 3 touchdown passes to wide receivers. Andrew Luck's got 17 passing scores. Only 4 of them belong to his wideouts. So, Wayne's not finding the end zone. Bengals, pretty stingy defense. Not really an ideal matchup for him. Let's go to the tight ends. Kobe Fleener, again, going against the Bengals defense, but whereas they're stingy with wide receivers, the Bengals have really given up a lot to tight ends. I think they've given up 274 yards and 3 scores. And 3 scores in the last 2. So, if he's not scoring, he doesn't have a whole lot of fantasy value. But Fleener just has like 150 yards in 6 games. So, so. Andrew Quarles, he caught the game-winning touchdown last week. But now he's going against the Panthers defense, allowing the 7th fewest fantasy points to that position. So they're really stingy with their tight ends. He's not been targeted very much. He's a gamble. I mean, it's either boom or bust with him. Looking at the beach bums. All right, he's got the Peyton brothers. We've got Eli. Now Eli's going against the Cowboys. Cowboys are limiting their opposing passing games so far to 228 yards. That's
Oh,
the 12th fewest in the league.
the Cowboys defense has been unbelievable night and day compared to last year's. But I think the stat I heard was that they're almost on pace for the exact same defensive season. They're just not giving up the points now to go along with the actual yardage and everything that they're giving up.
Well, but you also got to realize too, they've met with what I would consider low volume passing attacks. I mean, Seattle, Houston, San Francisco. A lot of them are. They run the ball, they pound it. They're capable of throwing and little quick throws and stuff, but they're not what I would consider high, purely high volume pass attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that influences the stats a little bit. Dallas is ball dominant on their agenda right now. They're trying to hold onto the ball more. Either way, Dallas, the fifth fewest fantasy points to opposing arms so far. So there's Giants, the run game's pretty much non-existent. So there's a good chance, Eli's going to be asked to pretty much carry the offense on this one. So risky play. I mean, that division, Giants, Cowboys, I know, a lot of times they play each other pretty hard. Cowboys, they just or the Giants, they got blew out by Philly. They're going to come back, and Eli usually does good whenever he's away. I think he plays better at Dallas Stadium than Romo has in past. So I don't know. That one's a gamble. Peyton, man, where's it going to stop? He's thrown multiple touchdown passes in 11 straight regular season games. I think it's totaled to 36 touchdowns during the streak so far. It's going to be tough to extend it. They're going to be tough to run against the 49ers defense. They've allowed the second fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks this year. So, as far as run, it's going to be tough for him to continue that streak against the 49ers. So we'll see. Looking at beach bums, looking at his running backs, Andre Ellington. Raiders are allowing the third most rushing yards per game. Ellington, he's on pace right now for about 1,600 yards total. He's good at receiving. He's good at rushing. He had 25 touches last week. So he's kind of serving more. He's following his return from injury. We'll see. Ellington, he's kind of the workhorse right now. They kind of said that in the off season. That's what they were going to do with him. So I think you'll have good numbers in week 7. Frank Gore, right now, Gore has been surprising to me this year. He's, I think like 14th ranked in fantasy backs right now. He's on pace for his 8,000-yard, campaign in 9 seasons. Broncos have a, kind of middle of the road versus the run. So, we'll see how that goes. Andre Johnson, last week, he had at least 70 yards in 4 of 6 contests this season. So, I mean, that's, there's a lot of potential there. He's kind of top dog in Houston's passing game. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. Mediocre Pittsburgh secondary. He should put good numbers up in week 7.
Yeah, he got his first touchdown last week. Believe that or not, Andre Johnson finally hit the touchdown. Got his very first touchdown last week.
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about. Him and Larry Fitzgerald both finally got the end zone week 6 of the NFL season. That's insane.
Bolden, so far he's got 53 receptions. He's been targeted 69 times. He's around 600 yards. He's kind of middle of the road. Broncos secondary, they're allowing the third fewest fantasy points to receivers this season. He pretty low side for me. I don't, he'll put decent numbers, but not nothing to write home about. James Jones, Cardinals have been really good against the run. They've been unable to slow down wide receivers. They're giving up close to 28 points per game That's the second most in the NFL. If you own James Jones, Derek Carr is red hot right now. He's definitely play him and sit back and enjoy. Cruz, he's got Cruz. Cruz is out, so but he's got depth in wide receiver, so he should be good. Now Beach Bums, they're really hurting tight end. Jordan Reed's back, possibly. But I mean, yeah, he is. Kirk Cousins, he likes to target Reed. I mean, we'll see. He's got you know this is going to be an interesting matchup. I know you kind of said that possible upset, and I could kind of see it going that way actually.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those matchups where I mean, everything would have to just fall perfectly in line for the Beach Bums to pull off the victory. Um, it's, I mean, like I said in the beginning, you look at it, you're like, you could see it possibly happening, but I think that injury to Cruz could definitely hurt them. Andre Johnson did, he finally hit the end zone last week. Was that just a fluke? Or is it all of a sudden, hey, Houston's quarterback, Fitzpatrick, realizes, wait a second, I should be throwing him the freaking ball.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Peyton Manning, I see him, I think he just needs 3 touchdowns to break the record of Brett Favre, if I recall correctly. I see him at least tying that record, most likely. So, it's hard to stop Peyton in Denver. So, it's it's just one of those, it could easily be done, but, I mean, Monsters of the Midway, as you said, their wide receiving core is ridiculous, and those three, I mean, you got Torrey Smith, Jordy Nelson, Julio Jones, all three easily can just drop 20 points on you, and you're screwed.
Yeah, and as far as, I mean, it's going to be kind of with, he's got the advantage in wide receivers. Quarterback, he's got Cutler and Ryan. It's 50-50. One of those two is going to put up good numbers. I don't see both of them doing poor. It's just you look at the draw, pick the right one. I could see you getting upset, but I'd have to give this one to Monsters of the Midway.
Yeah, I could definitely see Monsters of the Midway taking this one. Let's see. The other match, the AFC matchup. Let's look at this. We have Dispensing the Pain facing off against the Rampant Lions in a intra-division, monster battle, in my opinion, because, the winner of this one, I think, has the best chance of taking over the division and seeing themselves in the playoffs with the division title. You got Rampant Lions 4-2 against Dispensing the Pain 3-3, and I just want to state, in the beginning of the season, I said Rampant Lions Super Bowl champions, returning back to the Super Bowl. Look at them at 4-2. That's all I gotta say. Look at them. They are definitely getting right where they need to go.
And I also think I said, I think I was called crazy for this, but I think I said that whole division would end up going back to the playoffs as well.
Yeah, it's accurate. I think you said that.
Yeah,
it's looking close.
Yeah, all three teams are putting up good numbers. Just some interesting stuff as far as the series between Dispensing the Pain and Rampant Lions. We've got it's 2-1-1. So Rampant Lions is 1-2, Dispensing the Pain's 1-1, and then we've got one tie. However, looking at the past 6 weeks, if these two teams were to play each other each week for the past 6 weeks, it would still come out. It would 3 wins for Dispensing the Pain, 3 wins for Rampant Lions. So I think there's.
So what you're saying is you guys are pretty evenly matched. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah. It just kind of depends on the week. Rampant Lions have been a little more consistent as far as their putting up around the 140, 150 mark. Dispensing the Pain, they're a little more over the board. They've got 2 weeks they put up over 180 points. Then the other, but they got 2 weeks they put around in the 110, 117 range. So any given Sunday.
Yeah, definitely Dispensing the Pain has the outscoring ability with looks like a total of 853 points compared to Rampant Lions 800 points. But that sometimes that scoring the most doesn't really matter if you're blowing out somebody, and then the next week you can't even score,
Exactly.
120 to win. But let's take a look at this little matchup here. You've talked about Matt Ryan already. You got Matt Forte, running back for dispensing the pain. Easily can drop points down on you. Marshawn Lynch definitely didn't have the game of a normalness from last year. Dallas was able to just completely shut down Seattle altogether. His point total from last week I can't expect that to be again this week. You got Julius Thomas. He'll be the one probably catching the all those touchdowns from Peyton Manning this week. So that's pretty nice to have right there.
Yeah. We already touched on Ryan Forte. I mean, he's currently leading the league. He has 46 receptions. He's on pace for that's like 120 some over a full season. That's a lot. Miami, they've kind of been middle of the road against the run, so I think it's going to set Forte up for a pretty good showing. Lynch has the most touchdowns among skilled position players since the start of 2012 season. The Rams are allowing 4.5 yards per carry. That's the ninth most in the league, and around 140 rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. That's the seventh most in the NFL. So I think Lynch is going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to put up some big numbers and then have some skittles. As far as the receivers, Jordy Nelson, we talked about him. I mean, he's leading the league's leading receiver. He's putting up big numbers. I think he's got a pretty good matchup. Golden Tate. We got Stafford thrown to him. Calvin Johnson's out, so that's going to increase Tate's value a little bit more. I think he's going to see some stuff, some bigger numbers. Welker, he didn't show up last Sunday, so he's kind of non-existent. Julius Thomas, like you said, he is he's on a record-setting pace for touchdowns. He's wearing it out. So I think he's. But on top of that, I was reading a stat said he's hauled in all but one of his targets in every game this season. So he's really got some good hands on him. And then you got Antonio Gates. He may not get a ton of yards, but at the same time, he's got 6 touchdown grabs over the past 5 games, facing Kansas City, who has allowed 4 tight end touchdowns in the past 5 games. So there's a good chance Antonio Gates is going to get in the red zone a little bit.
Oh, when you got Phillip Rivers throwing to you, you'll be in the red zone, definitely, no doubt about that.
Yeah, rampant lines. I mean, hey, we got Cutler. Kind of discussed him. Cutler's got a lot of weapons. He's got a good matchup. Breeze. He's home.
He has not had the best of years right now. He definitely is. Yeah. Below his scoring ability, going up against Detroit's. I mean, if I'm pretty sure Detroit's a very secretive 4-2 record, if I recall. You wouldn't have really thought that they're 4-2, and then you wouldn't think that they're number 1 in passing and number 2 in rushing. That's crazy to think about, that their defense has been that good, stifling the opposition. I mean, you look at what they've given up to quarterbacks. Eli Manning, 6 points. Cam Newton, 17 points. Aaron Rodgers, 10 points. Then they've been facing some not great quarterbacks. Geno Smith, 7. Kyle Orton, 14. Teddy Bridgewater, a -6. So, I mean, they've only given up 49 points to the quarterbacks, but we're talking Drew Brees. And New Orleans pretty pissed, and they have to win. So it could easily be one of those games where Drew Brees just drops the hammer on them.
Possibly, but at the same time, we got Jimmy Graham's out. I mean, that's his go-to guy. He's out. Marquise Colston has pretty much been non-existent. Actually, hey, it's worth a gamble. I think Jeff should start Brees over Cutler. Definitely. That's the coach Dan talking, not the Tirico review. But then, but looking at his running backs, I mean, Giovanni Bernard. I mean, the Colts are giving up a lot of yards. Around 5 yards a carry. Atlanta's allowed more than. Let me see. I'm sorry, I've got my stuff. Allowed more than 7 rushing scores to Indy. Bernard. I think he's going to have. I think he's going to have a big game. He's turned 31 carries into around 200 yards. So he's getting the ball. He's putting on the yards after he gets the ball. Bush, there's a chance that Reggie Bush may come back by week 7. Just have to kind of keep an eye on that. Foster, Foster has, man, he's so good. He's topped 100 yards in each of the 4 games he's played. He's third in rushing yardage, second in ground scores. The Steelers defense was hammered by Cleveland for 160 yards.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to slow Foster down too much. I think he's going to do good. Pierre Thomas, again, stingy lines defense. Thomas is unworthy of a start in my book.
Oh no, he's definitely. I mean, you look at. I mean, right away, Foster, Giovanni Bernard. I don't think there's no. I mean, you're definitely not going to start Reggie Bush. I think even though he is, I think possible to be playing this game or that next game that Detroit has. I can't see starting him. He's not scoring enough points to even be worthy, in my opinion.
I think you should try it. I think that would be a good gamble on Jeff's part. Wide receivers, I mean, Julio Jones. He's leading the league in targets. He's first in receptions among wideouts. I mean, Ravens secondary, again, giving up 6th fantasy points per game to wide receivers. He should have a big day. Hester, you definitely can't sit him. Vincent Jackson, you never know.
Well, the Bucks are on a bye this week, so Vincent Jackson's not even going to be even a decision for this.
I think you should start him.
Well, let's see. Atlanta, they're facing Baltimore, 27th ranked against the passing. So I mean, they're giving up points to definitely wide receivers, and the only thing, when you look at Devin Hester, sure, I mean, he's getting points. I'd like to see a better breakdown of what is being considered his return yardage points compared to actual receiving yardage. Because I think that's where the real money maker is for Hester. I mean, if the Ravens get him the ball at any point in time, I mean, those are points that you just can't ever predict are going to happen. That could easily happen.
Look at his tight ends. Martellus Bennett, not Alshon Jeffrey, not Brandon Marshall, but Bennett is second on the team in targets behind Matt Forte. Miami's allowed the 14th most fantasy points per game to tight ends, so definitely a big matchup for him. He also had a midseason pickup on Larry Donnell. I mean, Cowboys, they've been pretty stingy, but at the same time, they've gave up 6 touchdowns to opposing tight ends. That's I think it's like the 3rd most in the league. So Donnell's had 4 touchdowns this season. He's tied for 4th among tight ends. I could see him putting up good numbers as well. But again, that's against the Cowboys, you never know. I mean, it's going to be kind of a gamble on that one.
Yeah, I look at both of these teams, and you look at the defenses, and I mean, the defenses really aren't the money makers for either one of these teams. From how I look at it, it's definitely both teams are definitely offensive powerhouses. The defense is, thank you for giving me some extra points. But, I mean, this is definitely going to be whoever has the better offense probably is going to be the one that wins this game.
Yeah, and seeing, just if I was playing it purely by statistics, I know the Rampant Lions won the last matchup. Flip a coin, I'd probably give it to Dispensing the Pain this go around.
And speaking of going with the Dispensing the Pain, let's go ahead and let's take off that Dan Tirico headset real quick. Let's get into the man, Dan, who owns Dispensing the Pain. Let's get into really what I'm really interested in, and tell me how's your team going to fare against the Rampant Lions here?
Well, we've got a couple things going for us. As much as I hate it, and I hope we change it next year, we do have home field advantage. So that's going to give us a few points. Last time we met, we also had Lynch was out. He was on a bye, so we've got him back this go around. So that's one of our big weapons. Um, I don't know. I feel like we're going to have some people show up. Jordy Nelson for the most part has been really consistent this season. He's typically put up good numbers. Julius Thomas has been very consistent on putting up good numbers. I think the rest of our guys are going. I think we're kind of, I don't know. I just gut feeling. I think Dispensing the Pain is going to walk away with it. Now, granted, I would not be surprised to see Rampant Lions take it. Both of them are good teams. Jeff has been very fun to play against this season. He's really good on the waiver wires. He plays good He plays the matchups very well. He's not definitely not a rookie by no means. He's two-time Super Bowl champion. So the fact that I feel like I'm kind of running lockstep with them, and either or, I feel pretty honored about that. Especially, this is only my, just my third year in this league, so I think I've figured it out, come a long way, and in a fairly short amount of time, and I've got confidence in my players. I think we'll do well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at your guys' just standings alone. If you were to get the victory, you would tie overall record, but then you take the lead in the division, which we all know that's really the key statistic to look at in the very beginning to get your division title as your division record here. So you'll definitely take the lead there. It's I look at the two of your teams, and you guys are in a monster division first off, and talk about a black and blue division, and then you even got a Will in there with Every Day I'm Wrestling, who is surprisingly 0-2 in your division, but yet has a 4-2 record.
Correct.
So, it's one of those things where you guys are just battling it out, and it should be a very good match.
Yep, I agree. We'll sit back, grab some popcorn, and see what happens.
Oh yeah, it should be one heck of a matchup. And after we've broken down these matches, I think we have some very good, interesting matchups here. But the matchups I'm even more interested in now is the locks.
Okay.
And, I'll let you start with your locks first because, we'll save the best for last.
Well, yeah, you definitely have been the best for last, or best, go around. 10-0, that's impressive. We'll see if you can continue your streak. Looking at it, I'd like to take a look at Havoc Hawks versus Lucians.
Okay.
I just think Havoc Hawks has a lot better lineup this go round. We'll see what happens. He's got Andrew Luck. He's got Murray playing. Kelvin Benjamin, man, what rookie has made that big of an impact on a team so far? As far as rookies and whatnot, Kelvin Benjamin, you have Terrence Williams. I really like him. And then for the Giants, what's his face? Drawing a blank. But anyways, the Giants, rookie. All three of them guys are just really fun to watch. They're putting on a Percy Harvin. I mean, they're really fast. They're very quick, good hands. Havoc Hawks though, I think he's got the. I don't know. Lucians, he's got Foles going this week. Deshaun Jackson's finally starting. He's doing good. Brandon Marshall, Steve Smith. I think that both of them look fairly well matched on paper, but I'm going with Havoc Hawks.
Yeah, I was definitely looking at this matchup originally just to, so I like this as a matchup to go with a lock. You got the 4-2 Havoc Hawks against 3-3 Loose Ends. Loose Ends are in my same division, so kind of don't want to see them to win. But it's not a divisional game, so at the same time, go ahead and win. They do have Nick Foles on the bye, so they are going to be starting most likely Alex Smith.
Yep.
He's coming off a bye, which may not be too bad for him. But, it's Alex Smith. He's not a big, point but upper. He's going up against the Chargers, who are number 4 in passing. So, I mean, sure, Derek Carr lit them up last week. Don't get me wrong. But Alex Smith isn't a Derek Carr. He's not flashy. He's not going to put up 4 or 5 touchdowns. He's more to keep the game managed, and he'll get a touchdown here or there, but I don't see him getting 4 touchdowns against the Chargers.
Yeah. Well, as far as Andrew Luck. I mean, if I had to pick my top quarterback play this week, it'd be Andrew Luck. If I had to pick my top running back play this week, it would be DeMarco Murray. Benjamin is probably in my top 15 wide receivers. I just think it's Hawks is. I just think he's got it.
Yeah, no, it's a very good pick in my opinion.
My other pick, I'm going back to what I know, going back to home. I'm looking at Every Day I'm Wrestling versus Outkick My Coverage.
All right.
If you want to pull them up, Every Day I'm Wrestling, he's at the bottom of the division because, the whole, division win thing. He's 0-2. Just make sure we reiterate that. But he does have a 4-2 record. We're looking at Outkick My Coverage. They're a 4-2 team. So, I mean, we've got two good teams. I'm trying not to. I'm trying a different approach this go around. I'm trying to find some that I think are fairly close. I'm going to the David Rome school of picks.
There you go.
Yes. Russell Wilson. Man, he looked awful. But I still think he's a professional. He's going to bounce back this week. Tom Brady, without Kick My Coverage, Tom kind of bounced back, put up some good numbers last week. But as far as, neither one of them really have what I would, I think Spiller has a pretty good matchup, versus the Vikings. Neither one of the running backs are really what I would consider, huge standout. But the wide receiving core for Every Day I'm Wrestling, I mean, Antonio Brown, Percy Harvin, and then on top of it, look at defense. Who's he got? J.J. Watt. You might as well give him an extra slot position for a wide receiver or tight end. Watt he's just been that consistent with it. So, home field advantage. I'm going with Every Day I'm Wrestling on this one.
Yeah, you're looking at it, and it's real quick with J.J. Watt. 13.5 points, 7.6 points, 12 points, 19.5 points, 4 points, then 26.5. Now he's going up against the Steelers, and I'm pretty sure it's a primetime game. So I believe that's a Monday night game. So if it's one of those games where he needs 10 or 15 points and he still has J.J. Watt to go, I'd almost still feel confident I'm going to win that game because it's a J.J. Watt. Yeah. And he could easily get an interception returning for a touchdown, fumble returning for a touchdown, line up on the offensive side, catch it for a touchdown. So it's definitely, I could easily see the victory there as well with Every Day I'm Wrestling. You look at Outkick My Coverage, he's got Tom Brady, who is a man possessed right now after that awful showing against the Chiefs. So awful that he's been putting up normal Tom Brady numbers. You got Sean Moreno, who is no longer going to be playing. He's out for the season. So running back wise, he hurts really bad there. Tight ends, I'm such a fan of Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen he's had a good year so far.
He's definitely he's a man's man, and he's a great football player. He comes in, does his work, gets his touches, handles business. But I mean, overall, Every Day I'm Wrestling. I think that they're just going to be too much. So I agree with both those picks.
Well, good. If I got your vote of confidence, then that makes me feel better. So, Mr. Rome, what have you?
Let's see here. And for my AFC pick, I looked at the 3-3 Butt Monkeys versus the 3-3 Skin Bots, and you look at the matchup, and you got Colin Kaepernick as quarterback. You got Eddie Lacy, who has been very, very disappointing in my opinion so far this season with Green Bay. He's definitely due for a breakout week. Could this be it? Who knows? You got Alfred Morris steadily putting up numbers. T.Y. Hilton, Demaryius Thomas. I mean, point getters right off the bat with those two wide receivers. Skinbots, you got Kirk Cousins. I mean, he's doing a good enough job in Washington. I would definitely, even with RG3 to come back, I would keep Cousins in there. But running back, you got Ahmad Bradshaw and Steven Jackson. They're not putting up any points. Wide receiver wise, you got Cordell Patterson and Eddie Royal. I mean, Patterson's just having a bad season just because they're just not getting enough. I don't think they're just not getting a steady in the quarterback. Uh, with AP hurt, or not a hurt, but he's busy beating on other stuff. I think that actually has screwed up Minnesota pretty bad. So as I'm looking at this matchup, I'm going butt monkeys on this one.
Yeah, I can see that. And as far as you reference to Lacey, I mean, they're doing that running back by committee. He's not seeing a whole lot of touches. But again, it's going against Carolina. Carolina is giving up a lot of points to running back. So, we'll see what he does with it. But yeah, I mean, I I could kind of see that one going either way, but I'd have to agree with you on that one. Who's your next pick?
The next pick, we're going into my NFC pick. I always like to make sure I get one AFC and one NFC team. So the NFC team of choice is the team that was able to take care of me last week, Terrible Towels. I have them defeating the Maynardville Mudfish. You have both are 3-3. You have the Terrible Towels with Andrew Luck. We all know what he can do. Marshawn Lynch definitely is going to be bouncing back from last week. I mean, going up against St. Louis Rams D, we know they looked good on paper, but paper isn't telling the whole story there. And then you got Le'Veon Bell, who, after last week, Cleveland just embarrassed Pittsburgh. Now Pittsburgh's going in prime time against the Houston defense. That could be a scary matchup as well, but, Dez Bryant, Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett, monster scores in the passing game. Defense-wise, you got Jason Pierre-Paul. Love the guy, USF alum. He does everything you can for the Giants defense. Alec Ogletree handling stuff. He's probably one of the only one doing anything for the St. Louis defense. And then you got Dominic Sue. I mean, just up and down. He definitely has a nice steady roster to be able to take care of the business. Other side, you got the Mudfish, Colin Kaepernick. He's. I feel he hasn't been as. Last week he was able to pull out. They came back. They were looking not too good in the beginning of the game, but then of course he comes out and scores 35. Gets 35 points for his team. But it's just I don't like. You got C.J. Spiller. Never really been a big fan of him. I feel he doesn't get enough. Just doesn't do enough still for the name he's got. Jimmy Graham, he's going to be out, so those aren't points to be really looking for. Jarvis Landry for Miami, once again, I can't really, he hasn't been that big of a scorer in my opinion for Miami, so it's just the way the matchup is looking. I almost think his defense might be what outscore his offense. So definitely Terrible Towels on this one, going up defeating the Mudfish.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Big names and Spiller. Yeah, I agree. Not a huge fan. He does have Percy Harvin though. I'm big on Percy Harvin. Jimmy Graham. He's pretty sure he's not playing, so Mudfish is going to have to do something with that as well. We'll see how deep is he in tight end. Maybe I should have phrased that a little different, but yeah. And also, my apologies. I have been trying to pick one AFC, one NFC. I didn't catch myself on that when I was making my picks. I was just trying to look for good matchups, and I dropped the ball on that one. So I'll make up for it next week and do 2 NFC picks.
There you go. He's got Eric Ebron as his other tight end on the roster, so he hasn't been scoring a lot of points either. So that might be a waiver wire pickup. Maybe what he has to do on that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, those are my picks. If I go 12, if I go another 2-0 and I hit 12-0, I don't know. How, it's pretty crazy to even think that, but it's out there. So if those are the picks, those are the locks. We will see what happens.
picks, locks, reviews. Sounds like a wrap to me.
Sounds like a wrap to me. So we are going to get out of here on this episode of the TFL. Just want to do a reminder here real quick that the polls are out that for the TFL that Commissioner Goodell has put out there. So don't forget to answer those. And let me see if there's anything else I need to find here. Yeah, I think that's everything that he had said. Yeah, get your polls answered. You know, it's mid-season already, which is crazy to think about. But other than that, I think that's it for us.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll see you next week.
All right, TFL, we'll see you next week. Y'all have a good one. See ya. And that is that for TFL. Take this phone off the charger. Put that one into the books.
Cha-ching.
All right.
A lot of stuff going on waiver wire right now.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
It's usually how it works. Emails blowing up on it, or you're just looking at?
Well, I just got that one email. I had a bunch of them in there, but I was just looking at it.
Let's see. People are listening to the show live.
Really?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But, I mean, they could easily just go to YouTube instead of actually being linked in, so, I mean, they'd have to search for it, but now that's actually happening. What do we have? Oh, God, 13 waivers? Holy crud.
Yeah.
What the hell happened here? A lot of drops, acquires. Havoc Hawks we were just talking about.
Might have some possible. I should have mentioned this, but I think we might have some trades in the works, quite possibly.
Oh yeah, you're working on something?
Oh man, I'm working hard. I'm throwing all sorts of stuff out.
Yeah, you threw that one out to me. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
I hope people, when I do stuff like that, make me a counter offer.
I don't even. I'm so bad. Wow, Central Wildcats draft Jason Witten. Huh. I'm so bad in any of the fantasy leagues. I'm horrible with trades because I don't like trading. It's just I don't know why. I feel like he picked up. Wow, Havoc Hawks picked up Michael Floyd. Where was that in the roster? But Central Wildcats went crazy. I don't know what it is. I just can't. I hate to be the one that pulls the trigger on something and then it just like falls in my face. Because the last time I did that was in baseball. I pulled the trigger on a trade, it completely took my team and flushed it, destroyed it. And then the team who got my player went and won the playoffs and won the championship. So it's just I don't know. I have such a problem with trades. It's so hard for me to actually trade something.
Yeah, well, I worked hard on Butt Monkeys today. They got Demarius Thomas and T.Y. Hilton, and I was throwing Lynch out there.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. He just he wouldn't bite, at least not right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of whether or not to try to trade for players or trade for draft picks. But I'm not sure, what draft picks are going to be coming out this year, whether or not it's going to be even a good choice anyway, or if I should try and get rid of my own draft picks for players. But I don't know. It's like I said, I have such a hard time with it. It's so hard. But let's see, that killed the TFL.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff wrote down on TCAA right now, but I don't have a lot of their matchups and stuff.
Yeah. Well, let me see. I have to look at what the poll looks like. It looks like Vestal Virgin still stayed number one. I'm actually a little shocked. Tell you the truth. Volunteers are number 5. Vessel Virgins 1. Will stayed as number 7. Land Thieves number 3. So let's. Wow, Medicine then is at 4.
So are they doing the TCAA now?
No, I don't think so. What's going on?
What's up?
Well, the TFL was thorough. I don't have a clue what you guys are talking about in there, but
Statman Dan gets into it, so it's pretty awesome when he can get all those stats in there.
Is it too much? I mean, really, is it?
nah.
I think it's awesome.
Crunch of numbers.
All right, I hope
Crunch
to
of
do
numbers.
that. I hope to do the TCAA good this week too.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, if you feel like you want to wait until tomorrow to crunch those numbers, I mean, we can do that, especially now that we have some rankings out there. But I mean,
I will say, let's see. I just heard your comment about the ranking wise. Now, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about record, I guess. But these, well, I have beaten 2 of like the top 6 guys thus far. Of course, we know Will was on like a big bye week.
yeah,
When I played him, but or sorry, Wild Will's at 7, so it's
yeah.
2 of the top 7, and number 3. Who's that?
3 is Land Thieves right now.
Okay, yeah, I haven't played him. Who did I play?
You've played. I don't know. I have so many things written down. I mean, when I was,
Rusty Nails. Is that who it was?
he was ranked at one point, but he's dropped like a stone.
Dang, he dropped huge.
Yeah,
I thought he was like number 3 last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He got hit hard because he didn't set his roster. In my opinion, I think we all.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh heck!
To be a number 3 ranked team, and he blew it in all the voters' eyes
Wow.
by not. No, yeah, I dropped him hard. I think a lot of people dropped him hard for
Not sitting is.
not sitting a lineup and being ranked so high.
Yeah.
I mean, his record also dropped as well. So I mean,
Right. Oh, yeah.
he did then become a 3-in. Where is he? I don't even know where the hell he's
Was
at.
he?
He was a. I don't think he's a 5-1 team because that wasn't his first loss. So I think he's a 4-2 team.
He's a 4-2 team now. I was his first loss, week 2.
Yeah, so I mean, he gets, he's bunched. There's a bunch of other 4-2 teams, but due to his negligence, he got thrown down to the bottom of the 4-2 teams for his negligence.
Absolutely. Penalty.
But, you have to. But
Major foul.
I really, when I was doing the rankings yesterday, I was telling Brian and Dan and Will in our little chat that I was like, it is so difficult to try and put Gondor U in front of Vestal Virgins because you haven't lost and you've beaten teams, and so has he. It's just
his point totals. Oh gosh, dude! Last week he was on fire. I mean, he had like 114 coming out of Thursday.
I mean, he had JJ. He had so much ridiculousness. It was not even
real.
It
was like it had so much ridiculousness going on. Like everybody he had playing got 20 points.
I'm pretty sure who he even faced. I'd have to look back. Did they even score 100 points to even beat his Thursday lineup?
I'll look at
That's
it
the
right
crazier
here.
part.
No, yeah, they got 108. Blue Bombers.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how they finished. Was that 108?
Yeah, 108. Then he got beat by like 69.
His 4 players on Thursday beat the Blue Bombers.
Yes.
Which is insane.
It is. I know. Thank goodness I wasn't playing against them. But hopefully we'll get a chance here towards the end of the season.
Dynasty
after the season ends.
Yeah, so I still had the same. I had the right top 10, just in a little different order. Which is, I think, how it's going to be. I mean, it's going to take something crazy. Where did I go in my lockbox? Ooh. Volunteers, Galanthus. Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be something. So Dan, what are you thinking?
I'm
You
just
want to do
looking.
TCAA tomorrow?
Yeah, I would prefer to. No, I don't care to stay on and help you do the interview if you want.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just basically get Vestal's opinion staying number one and his matchup against the Volunteers, if that's cool with you.
So it's good with me.
All right. Let's see here. I feel like Vestals has been on the show like 3 weeks in a row now too.
Oh yeah, dude. I just click on and mute.
Well, no, I think I've even had you talk a couple of times, if I recall.
I talked against I think the Wild Will matchup that was game of the week.
Do you have a Muppet head?
Oh, I had Ron Swanson on last week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But it was on my phone, so
See, I knew something was there.
same address there. Yep.
Yeah. Do you guys both work at Mooney's?
No, I'm a cook over at Hokey Smokey.
I got nothing there.
Oh, you should come check it out. You'd love it.
Where's it at?
It's right beside the John City Mall.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ate there either.
That's barbecue, man. People die for it, man. Place is always busy.
I like barbecue.
I think we actually talked to Jared today. We transferred something to him today at work. I couldn't remember if it was him that was worked there or which
Jared works
it
over
is.
at Mooney's.
Yeah, so my pharmacist talked to him today for a transfer.
Okay.
It's amazing, just like calling in a pharmacy, and you probably get somebody that's in our fantasy league. It's ridiculous.
Oh, that
It is.
Jared?
There's a lot of people.
When now?
I have called and got transfers and didn't realize that's who it was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Jared.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, isn't this crazy?
That's the Jared.
That's the Jared. Got his first win last week.
He got his first win. How about it?
I locked that too.
You did lock it. You did lock
That's how
that.
good I am.
You also locked yourself against me, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Oh,
that was
good.
just hope.
It was fun, man.
I knew I was done.
JJ was what an X factor, man.
Oh God, it's ridiculous with JJ Watt.
Bad thing for me and good thing for everybody else is he's a senior this year, so
Oh, there you are.
he will be something else more than likely.
Maybe you could maybe he can somehow he hurts himself the rest of the year and medical leaves for you, and then you can pull him in for next year. Get that emergency fifth year.
Yeah, man, I don't know if that'd be possible. It's a little late.
Give it a shot.
Try.
Alright, so,
Hey, Dave, didn't we have a statement from somebody?
we had it, or for this, we have it from Ted's. I think it's Tedzilla. I've got a statement for. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff never ended up sending a statement on hit for him for the TFL against you. So.
Well, I knew in one of these 15 different threads I've got here, somebody sent one, but
It's fun sending all that. Yeah, no, Tedzilla sent something through. So we got. Oh wow, going up against number. See, here's another chance to keep your number one rank. Going up against number 5 Volunteers.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
SEC title preview.
Yes.
In my opinion, I mean,
it would seem that it will be a title preview for sure. It will.
And
This is a big one.
Okay. All right. So basically, we won't bring it into the show. We'll just bring in like we're doing an interview.
All right.
And we'll get you in. We'll get you say a few words. What's it feel like being number 1 still? You got the target on your back. People are thinking Gondor maybe should have been number 2. All that garbage. Then you get to face number 5.
That's right.
Let's see. Will is facing number 3. Oh, his schedule is just ridiculous. man. So they're 73. That's crazy. All right, here we go. All right, you guys ready?
Sir.
Bro.
Let's see. How did I do this last week? All right, here we go. Welcome everyone back to the TCAA. This is David Rome, and I've got Dan Tirico here with me again, as always. And we have a very special guest joining us here today. The rankings had just been released, and with us is the still #1 for 2 weeks in a row, the president of the Vestal Virgins. How are we doing there today?
Doing well, sir. Thanks for having me on.
It's always a pleasure to have you on here. Let's get right into it. Rankings just came out. You're #1 second week in a row. There was some controversy, I believe, in the ranks of whether or not you should stay #1 as undefeated, and Gondor having the ability to be beating a lot of ranked teams, sitting at #2. How do you feel about that kind of talk going on right now?
Gondor's had a fantastic season, and I guess maybe he slipped up somewhere along the way, and that's the only reason why he's not where I'm at right now. I mean, thus far we've been consistent and methodical and blessed. Had some guys that have really stepped up for us. Murray, I mean, he's absolutely been a total surprise. He originally thought he would be, kind of a consistent 10 to 15 point kind of back, but he's far exceeded those expectations thus far.
Yeah, he's turned into Barry Sanders at some point this season.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He is the man.
Alrighty here, and let's see. You had yourself a tough battle last week. You were going up against the University of Thugonomics, I believe. Was that correct?
That is right.
Yeah, that was one heck of a battle you had going on there. I believe your defensive player, J.J. Watt, took care of the Thugonomics single-handedly.
Yes.
But, I want to say right off the bat, great matchup. I tried my damnedest to, upset the #1, and I didn't do it.
It's been a tough road for anybody, David. I mean, you shouldn't feel bad for yourself. You were going against a hell of a team.
I basically just became a statistic. Basically, that's what that was. That was a nice way to say that. Just another notch in the belt.
Oh man, yeah. Well, like I said earlier, man, we've been truly blessed so far.
Well, speaking of statistics, you got some injuries on your team. Stephen Ridley, Jimmy Graham. How do you think that's going to affect things? Do you think you have the depth?
I do believe I have the depth. If it comes to it, I've got a guy on the taxi squad that I'll be able to pull, and I believe get some kind of production out of him. But Stephen Ridley, obviously, that one's kind of lame. But Donald Brown's out at this point. Ryan Matthews is still out. I don't have Ryan Matthews, but depth-wise, a couple injuries at the tailback spot, and whenever Murray goes on by, I'm going to have somebody step up.
I see you have a couple studs in wide receiver on your on your practice squad. I mean, you got Odell Beckham, Kelvin Benjamin. It must feel good to know you got them guys in the wings.
They are in the wings. They're going to be with us for several years to come.
That is so nice.
Quarterbacks. You leaning towards any particular one this week?
Okay. Well, I've got Phillip Rivers. Are they playing the Jets? Is that right?
Phillip Rivers. Yes, he's playing the Chiefs.
Chiefs. Oh, Chiefs. Yes. That's right. Oh man. Well, as long as Eric Berry's not back, I think he's the one to start. Eli Manning, obviously, the last few weeks playing really good, and then Monday night, I believe in some leagues he got like negative points. So that's inconsistent. That's not good. I'm going to have to. Phillip Rivers coming up on bye week 10, so hopefully Eli performs, and I believe that that he's actually going to be in Seattle that week also.
Yeah, just
So-
for the record here, real quick, let's talk Eli here for a second, and the Philadelphia defense for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
They are not the best ranked. They've given up 18 points, 24 points, 32 points, 18, another 28, and then Eli pulled off. In fact, both the quarterbacks that they even brought in Orion Nasib. Sure, whatever. And they
Right.
were able to be a combined negative 1.26 in quarterback points.
Yeah, I don't. You can't pin that all on Eli though. I mean, that offensive.
The offensive line was just horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was running for his life. That you can't throw the ball laying on your back. I mean,
Yes.
when he's got blocking, when he's got protection, he's a halfway decent quarterback.
Right.
But I did read something. His stats are actually a lot better. His stats are better than Peyton's in postseason play. So I thought that kind of.
Well, that's. I mean, he's had a lot of seasons, so. I mean, Peyton's been Super Bowl twice. Eli's been. How many times has he been? 2 times also.
But 2 times, 2 rings.
Oh no! I'm sorry. Peyton's been there 3 times. 3 times.
3 times, 1 ring. Bummer.
Yeah.
Dang.
But
that's it.
yeah, let's go ahead and let's get into your matchup here. You're going up against the Volunteers, who have been ranked number 5 in this past polls. What kind of matchup you see yourself here in?
It's a tough matchup. It's going to be really difficult. Jimmy Graham's going to be out this week, so with it being week 6, I went and tried to pick somebody up. So hopefully I'll have a tight end to put in the spot. I have a tight end there, but he's going to be going on a bye week here soon, so I have to get some kind of depth there because I'm not sure when Jimmy Graham's going to be back. But still got DeMarco Murray, Phillip Rivers. I look to compete. I mean, I've scored up in the 110 or more points every week, or 109 or more points every week, it seems. So, I don't know. Hopefully, we just get it done.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it's going to be you got. I mean, you're at home, so you get yourself a little advantage there. So it should definitely be an interesting matchup, number 5 versus the number 1. You have your chance to, silence some of the critics possibly of maybe a soft schedule, but you've been beating ranked teams. So
I've been beating ranked teams, yeah.
It's an SEC possible title preview here. You guys might be seeing each other, near the end of the season, which could then, decide who's going to be in the playoffs for that national title game. So this could be just one of the many times we see you guys face each other.
Exactly. Exactly. This is a big time game for the conference right here. It's going to start off, I mean, hopefully with a win in my favor.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But they had he's had a really good team. I believe. I mean, he was ranked number 1 there at some point. Right?
Yes, he was. He was ranked. I think it was like week 2. He was ranked number 1, and he lost as soon as he got the ranking.
Yeah, his points though, he's threw up some big numbers. He's been a little more scattered, not very consistent. He's really up and down. But
I believe he had a week where I thought I was looking there. He had like 180 points or something. Huge week. So I mean that's some serious firepower.
J.J. Watt actually has more points than all but one of your wide receivers.
Well, JJ's been killing it. I mean, I didn't even need him to win last week, but he just made up.
And you have a lot of wide receivers, so
he inflated the margin. So
that's awesome.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think J.J. Watt is really, as far as for injuries on your team, and I think he's going to make up the slack for that. Good pick up on your part.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, all respect to all due respect to the Volunteers. They're heck of a club. I definitely look for it to be a battle this week.
Well, let's look at the points for. Points for Vestal Virgins is 834.44. Volunteers 864.34. You've had 688.74. He's had 802.34.
Wow.
He's had some really high scoring games against himself.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. I've just been blessed.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it go either way. I think it'll be a real good game.
That's like I said. I mean, he's got some serious talent there. Who his tailbacks? He's got Gio Bernard,
Le'Veon Bell, Morris Lacey. Yeah, he's got some. He's stacked a little more in running back. Calvin Johnson. He's got his wide receivers. He's not really put up that great numbers. Pierre Garcon. Yeah. He does have Demarius Thomas. Then he's got Julius Thomas for his tight end. He's been a beast.
That's where those points are coming from.
So he has Calvin Johnson also, but he's not going to be playing this week. Is that right?
Yeah, he probably won't be playing.
I haven't seen the update on him yet.
Then quarterback, he's got Kaepernick and Tannehill, and
that's Kaepernick, definite.
Kaepernick. So
it should be one hell of a match, actually.
It's going to be a hell of a matchup. It's going to come down to who each player has, like what team each player has playing against. Yeah.
So if you win, where do you see yourself in the rankings? And if you lose, where do you see yourselves in the rankings?
Oh gosh. Well, if I win, man, I would definitely hope to see myself at far and away the number one team. But if I lose, I mean, I've beat some quality programs thus far. So I mean, I think that who's number 5, maybe drop to like 4th, something like that. I mean, it's still a heck of a team.
Yeah, I could definitely see. Yeah, I wouldn't see you dropping that far if you were to lose, because it's just, you're up against the number 5 ranked team. The team is really a beast if you think about it. The fact that they've even got 2 losses, just as crazy considering
they have 2 losses.
They have 2 losses. So I mean, to think of what they've been scoring.
That's right. He lost back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, he's gone basically 2 wins, 2 losses, now 2 wins.
Yeah.
Once he hit that number 1 ranking, he decided to lose a couple of games, cost himself a little. But I mean, he at one point. Here's what's crazy: he only scored 89 points in week 4, which is, I don't even know how it's possible for his team.
Man, wow, that's pretty. That's pretty.
I think bye week got him.
Bye week, hell.
Yeah, I think bye week got him.
He's gone.
He hit a lot of big name people on week 4 on bye. So
yeah, he's gone 181, 129, 132 is when he lost to Rusty Nails.
That's tough.
Then 89, then he lost that Rusty Nails one by it was 16 points. I mean, could have just been something different there.
So that's how Rusty Nails got up there, and then he bounced right back out.
Yeah, Rusty Nails cost himself a little there. And then, I mean, he's got himself, faced the Medicine Men. That's when he lost, and that's when Medicine Men got themselves a big push. And
Medicine Men, yeah, that was surprising to see him lose a couple weeks ago.
And you got him 152, and then the 170. He's put up a 181 and a 179. So
yeah, I mean, those are big time. If I go against, I don't believe my team has that kind of firepower. I mean, it has consistent firepower. Like, it seems like everybody's playing well, but I don't have. It just doesn't seem like I've got anybody in the lineup that's gonna just torch it.
Well, except for JJ.
Well, yeah, I mean he will, but I mean like a full stack of cards. You know what I mean? I don't believe I have I don't think I have like a straight flush. I believe I've got like a flush every week though. something good, but you're gonna have to put up a lot of points if you want to beat me. And some guys, but I mean, I am yet to hit one of those high marks. I've hit 150, I think, twice.
Yeah, you've gotten 151. You've gone 156, a 151, a 151, a 109. So I mean, you've definitely hitting some high numbers on there. But it was. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be definitely a title preview. I do want to thank you for your time, for joining us here to get a nice little insight of your matchup against the number 5 Volunteers.
Yes, sir, man. Like I said, thanks for having me, and I'm just thankful to be where I'm at.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and
we wish you luck as well. So, well, I mean, both teams. I'll tell you both that, but good luck.
Both of us good luck. All right, I got you guys. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, TCAA, there you are. Number 1 Vestal Virgins has his say going up against number 5 Volunteers. We will be right back with the rest of our show here in just a minute after our break. See you in a bit. All right, so yeah, I saw your notes. I figured we were just.
Oh, I didn't care if you kept on. I was heading out, so I didn't know if you wanted me to.
Yeah.